You know what's wild? The very first woman in history reached for a piece of fruit, and 2,000 years later, we're still blaming her for it. And not a single person stopped to ask, why wasn't the garden safer? I've got 5 apples right here. They all look exactly the same. They look shiny, they're pretty. You'd reach for any one of them. You'd eat any one of them without thinking twice. But what if I told you that one of them, just one, had been tampered with? What if I told you it was full of tiny little razor blades, and as soon as you bit into it, it could seriously injure you and scar you for life? You can't see it. You can't smell it. It looks completely fine on the outside. In fact, it looks really appetizing. It's got a great presentation. Would you just grab one? Would you just grab any one of these and take a bite and hope for the best? What about this one? Would you try that one? No? Then why? Why? Why are we still angry at women for being careful? Remember when women were asked, would you rather be alone in the woods with a strange man or a bear? And women just simply answered honestly, and men lost it. Like totally lost it. They were so offended. They were angry. They called us dramatic. They said we were man haters. One dude even went out and fought a bear to prove, I don't know, something. But here's what they didn't say. Here's what not one of those angry men said. You know what? Let's talk about why she feels that way. Because that conversation, that's the only one that actually mattered. And that is exactly what a culture built on SA looks like. Not the act itself, but the rage that comes when women tell the truth about being afraid. Because instead of rage, what we should have heard was, we failed you and we're going to do better. Instead, we got, well, I'm not like that. Not all men are like that. You're generalizing. Which is the same as saying, well, these 4 apples are fine. Why are you even worried about the bad one? It doesn't matter how many good ones there are when you can't tell which one will hurt you. Here's my question. Here's the question nobody wants to answer. What if, instead of spending all our energy teaching women to explain their fear, to justify their caution, and be palatable while they're protecting themselves, what if we just raised boys who didn't need to be feared? You know, boys with emotional regulation. Boys who can hear no without it becoming your problem. Boys who understand that a woman's boundaries are not a personal attack on their character. What if Eve wasn't the lesson? What if Adam was? These apples are not the problem. The problem is that nobody taught us to ask what's inside before expecting someone to just take a bite and find out the hard way. Raise better, do better.